Hello, and I am back for exercise 6. If you cannot tell, I filmed this exactly the same day that I filmed exercise 5. I just took my cardigan off, put a hat on, and didn't even bother to change the camera setup. But I am filming on an iPad now, not a phone, because my phone is what I'm reading the names of the people that I'm about to talk about off. So let's go. So let's start with the professionals that I have met during the BFI course, and who they are, what they do, and what I personally have learned from them. So let's start with oh god, there's some last names in here that I'm not going to be able to pronounce. Let's go with Maggie Hofgen, or Hofgen. Let's say Hofgen. So Maggie is the lady that teaches us the film theory aspect of the course. She is so nice and really, really funny and easy to listen to. She's actually a really, really great teacher. She's German, and she has written a book on the history of German film, which in itself is really interesting. I think people who specialise in very sort of particular areas and are like experts in stuff, is really, really interesting. The fact that she has been able to get so developed in this to actually produce an actual novel from it, or I don't know if novel's the right word, an actual like publication from it. And personally, what I've learned from her is the fact that like you can be interested in film on any level. You can be involved in film on any level, whether that be in the actual creation of film or the theoretical aspects of the history of film and the sort of motifs and themes that run the course of all film history. Next we have Jason Wood, who is the Home Artistic Director of Film. He does film programming. I know Jason personally. He's a really, really nice guy, but professionally in a situation where he is, well, I've never known him as a professional before, and his talk with us was so engaging about the distribution and the programming of film, and how he connects with the how he goes out to festivals and he finds these films. If they don't have distributors, he tries to connect them with distributors, and they distribute them out, and sometimes they produce films of Home. He helps Home to produce films of their own, and he is in charge. He's in charge of a team who pick these creative programs. They have blockbusters, first release blockbusters, they have classics coming back, they have really art house films. What I've learned from Jason personally is the fact that all film deserves a platform, all film deserves somewhere to be shown, and what Jason does at Home is try and show like beginning independent filmmakers' short films before feature-length films, and he tries to create these programs where people who aren't in Hollywood and aren't in the public eye and are coming up in the industry are able to have a platform, and I think that's absolutely amazing. Now we're going to go for John and Judith in the same recording, because I'm breaking this up into like minutes so it's easy for me to edit. John Gray is one of the guys, or the guy that works with us on the filmmaking sessions, so the fiction filmmaking, and he's taught us about the writing and the editing, and John is personally a really funny guy, and really easy to get on with, and in like the filmmaking sessions he's really friendly and he's very open to letting you ask questions, and I think that's he's very easy to relate to, and he doesn't feel like a teacher even though he is teaching you a bunch of new skills. So John creates he works with film, he makes film, he writes film, he creates his own films, and I think that's incredibly interesting, and it's very, very amazing that a guy who is physically working in the industry takes his time to teach the future of the industry. And then Judith, oh god, names, Judith Chang, we're gonna go with that. Ow, I just hurt myself with my ring. So Judith is there's the woman that works with us in the filmmaking sessions. Judith, on the workshop, she taught us the lighting, which is so interesting because I have very set things that I like. I like editing, I like writing, I like directing, I like acting. I've never ever thought about lighting at all. It's just not something that physically really interests me. I like the theory of it, but I just don't particularly want to do lighting. However, the way that Judith explained it to us was so interesting, and the way that she got us working as a team. She wasn't like hand feeding us the information. We were just working on our feet to create this lighting setup. I sort of second guessed myself, and I was like, wow, just because you're not interested in something doesn't mean it can't be really cool. And I think people who can really do lighting are really, really, really skilled. Judith herself has a production company of her own, produces films of her own, and is obviously very, very involved with the youth side of the filmmaking industry. Okay, so next we have Bart. Bart is the sound guy. and I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. Pierre Skiriski. That's going to be fun to watch me trying to pronounce that, isn't it? Anyway, Bart is a sound... I refer to Bart as Bart the sound guy. Bart the BFI sound guy. And he led the sound portion of the workshop. And again, like Judith, I'm not very interested in the actual sound part of filmmaking, but he made it interesting. Like, he made holding a pole interesting and, like, engaging and like, allowed me to witness how important every little job in the production of a feature film is. And I learned that personally from Bart. And Bart is a sound guy. That's what he does. He records sound. He told me that he does sound for video games, which is really cool. He's worked with motion capture stuff. He's worked with like role-playing games, and he does sound for short films and movies, which I think is absolutely awesome. And then Heidi Renton, I think her name is Heidi Renton. She is the BBFC certification lady who came in to talk to us, give us like a lecture thing in a session. She is awesome, and that session was actually so interesting. What the BBFC do is basically they take films, they look at them, they give them a rating. It's a not-for-profit company. Like, you pay to get your films done, and to get your films rated by them, and that's enough money for them to pay their staff, and that's what they do. They don't make a profit, they don't have any gain like that, and it's simply for the guideline of people watching it. And that session, again, highlighted the importance of the post-production, of getting your film to an audience, and how important age ratings and certifications can be to get your film to an audience, and how important the role of doing that is. This course has been really amazing for letting me see all the little nooks and crannies of what it takes to be in the industry. See ya.